Welcome to Ecodriver. My name is Helmut. Today we go out on the Ecodriver loop with the Mini Cooper Countryman. This car has a 1.5 liter 100 kilowatt motor, 136 horsepower, and unladen weight of 1,405 kilograms. That's 3,901 pounds. The WLTP consumption is rated at 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers, and that's 42 mpg UK and 37 mpg US. NEPD is 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. We'll see, maybe we can beat that, not sure, but I guess around 5.5 we will end up. The route we're doing, I'll show you here if you're on my channel for the first time. We are starting where the green arrow is, in the southern outskirts of the city. We go out of town on a 30 kilometers an hour section, and then the ascent starts. That elevates us up 360 meters, 1100 feet of altitude, followed by rolling hills and a descent, which brings us back to the starting altitude. 19 kilometers of open road through some villages, and motorway 17 kilometers, and 18 kilometers, 11 miles of city traffic conclude our trip. After every section we have a look at the overall and sectoral consumption, and at the end we analyze the whole trip. The cameras will be on all the time for you to see how I am driving and how you can drive in order to get the best possible consumption out of this car, and also to show that there is no need to go ultra slow, to go extra slow. On the contrary, I bet we will be blocked a lot by other cars, because this is just what happens. People are not thinking when they are driving. They just brake at the wrong time and do not use the momentum and so on. So that's why the cameras are on all the time. I hope you enjoy this. We have a nice weather today. You get a nice view of the scenery as well, and I talk to you later. We're now coming to the end of the hill climb, and as you've seen, the camera that is faced on the gauges has dropped out for a couple of minutes. There was a problem with the power supply, but we're coming to the end of the climb, and we see here 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers. We're now coming to the hilly section, and here it's important to try to keep the momentum, to use the change of gradient to build up some momentum, to take this momentum into the next climb, and maybe try to avoid to accelerate too hard on the way up, or even reduce the speed a little bit in order to save energy. And when it flattens or it goes down again, then you can build up speed with much less energy needed than when it goes up. We're coming to the end of the hills now, and we see here 8.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah, the car in front of us was unfortunately not going really efficient, but it wasn't too bad for us. We kept a little bit of a gap, and so therefore we could go how I think is the most efficient way of doing it. On the way down, I try to use the injection cutoff mode of the car as much as possible. That means if the car is driving the engine, then there is no fuel injected. Therefore, it's the most efficient way of going downhill. We have two flatter sections. I try to pass those with as much as momentum as possible. No use of additional energy, if possible. Depends on other traffic as well. And therefore, you should be able to pass those sections without stepping on the accelerator. Yeah, you've seen we not only had the red Citroen in front of us, whose driver was braking just before the flat section, and therefore had to invest more energy on the flat to cover it. We then also had the tractor, which forced us to go slow on the flat section and then invest some energy to pass him, to overtake him. And here at the end of the descent we have 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers. We're now coming onto the open road with where we're going through some villages, and with speeds up to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles per hour. So at the end of the open road section we see here 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers, and you have seen not the Ecodriver is an obstacle on the road, it's all the other traffic, all the other vehicle movers, all those people who make the car go vroom vroom. You can call them drivers. They go slow and inefficient, and just it seems as if they turn off their brain once they are behind the steering wheel. On the motorway we have a restriction of 100 kilometers, 62 miles per hour due to some local environmental laws, and sorry, that's not Germany, so that's no speed festival. look at this scenery. And poor Helmut needs to live here. Yeah, I see this every day, every morning when I look out of the window. Yeah, poor me. So, end of the motorway, 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. We're now coming to the city section, and in the city it's important to try to keep the vehicle in motion, avoid stopping, avoid reducing the speed. That means just look ahead, read the road, see what's in front of you, and try to anticipate what other road users are doing. And then you have to accelerate, do it with low revs, as low as possible, but you can push the accelerator pedal hard, because that creates a high load in the engine, and the burning process is more efficient. This car is equipped, like most, with a start-stop function. Try to use it as much as possible, and if the engine goes off, try to keep it off when you're standing, not playing around with the clutch or the stick or the shift stick. That just causes the engine to start, and really try to start the engine only when you can start moving the vehicle. So we are coming to the end of our trip on the Ecodriver loop with the Mini Country, Mini Cooper Countryman. So that's right. And when we park here, then we see 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. And now let's have a look at the details. Okay, let's come to the details of our trip with the Mini Countryman. Firstly, let me apologize for the loss of the camera for a couple of minutes. This was due to a power failure. And also, please excuse the bad visibility of the speedometer. So you couldn't see the engine revs and the speed, because the reason for that is the steering column is in a very steep angle, and in order to mount the camera on the steering column, it needs to be very uptight. and then it becomes very unstable. So therefore it was a little bit a wobbly thing, and that also caused the power outage. But yeah, but I think you got an idea how I was driving. And if you want to know it exactly, then there are lots of other videos where I drive pretty much the same way. So you can see there. Okay, here we have the sectoral and overall consumption. You see the details for every section, and the overall consumption of 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. And if you look at this table here, where we have all the cars we have tested so far, all the petrol cars in this specific table, you see the details of the car and the details of the trip, and here we have a comparison with other cars. And I think the one you can compare it is the Nissan Qashqai. If you look at the raw data, it's just below 1.5 tons. The engine power is a little bit higher, and the overall consumption is pretty much the same, and also the intermediate consumptions are roughly plus minus half a liter. So what you saw in this trip is basically valid for all the other cars with an ICE engine. Keep the revs down, put a high pressure on the engine, and drive with foresight, read the road, try to anticipate what other road users are doing, accelerate gently, keep the car rolling, don't brake too harshly. So basically it's the same, and you see here it results in a consumption of 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. The WLTP is 6.3, so we are 12-13% below that, and this is pretty much in line with all the other cars I've tested. With most cars I'm between 10 and 20% below WLTP. In most cases it's just on NEPT or even below that. If you're interested in general tips how to drive ICE cars more efficiently, you can check out this video here. I've made a special one with 5 tips to drive those cars more efficiently. And if you're generally interested in what I'm doing and in this topic, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you won't miss any new video. Thanks for watching, take care, see you next time.